1-2-1.
They're off.
Well, welcome to Gungahlin Enclosed for this, the final round of the PS4 MPL Premier League season here in Canberra. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator here for this match between Gungahlin United and Canberra FC. Joining me this afternoon, Steve Forshaw, head coach of the Belconnen Under-18s. Steve, we were hoping this afternoon to be stood here watching a match between two teams with something to play for, but the results yesterday have meant this one's fairly academic now.
Yeah, it is. From the finals point of view, Gungahlin are comfortably in now with the result yesterday, Monero-Tuggeranong. So they can go and play with a degree of freedom and still look to get something out of the game and lay down a marker for next week's finals.
Before yesterday, we were looking at possibly a shootout between Tuggeranong and Gungahlin for this final spot, and Gungahlin would have had to get a result in this one to make it into the four, but the shock result of yesterday's three matches played was the Monero Panthers 2, Tuggeranong United 0. Monero having a poor season, but finishing quite well the last few weeks and stunning Tuggeranong, and that would have been a heartbreak for Sean Murphy for his team to fall over the line just before the finals.
Yeah, unfortunately the last 2 weeks have not been kind to Sean and his boys. 4-0 at Olympic when they were hoping to get something out of the game, I'm sure, and then yesterday they needed to win to maintain a level of pressure on Gungahlin and make Gungahlin earn their final spot, but wasn't to be, and they go down 2-0 in a sad end to the season for them.
Joachim Masinga scored twice for Monero Panthers yesterday to give them the 3 points. Two other games were played. Canberra Olympic confirmed their status as the preeminent side in Canberra with a 6-1 thrashing of the Riverina Rhinos. Jordan Sekenis with a brace, Stephen Dominici and Jeremy Habtemariam also weighing in with two apiece. That left Olympic top of the table on 47 points. The FFA Centre of Excellence finished second after they beat Belconnen 2-0. A couple of goals from Mirza Maratovic there put them on second, but they're ineligible for finals, of course, which means that Belconnen will finish second on the ladder unless, Steve, Canberra FC turn over Gungahlin today to the tune of 7-0.
Yeah, an unlikely result, and I do fancy Gungahlin to get something out of the game, but nonetheless, if FC want the double chance, then they've got to really go out and attack and try and get those goals. It's not beyond them, but it's a difficult task.
At the moment, we're looking next Saturday at Canberra Olympic versus Belconnen at Deakin at 4 p.m. and the repeat of this game, Canberra FC Gungahlin at Woden on Sunday at 4 p.m. Unless, of course, we said Canberra FC come out in a barrage of goals today. It's hard to see where they're going to come from, though, when you look at their leading goal scorer. Thomas James was on 10. He's now at Tigers after his falling out during the season. And Kofi Danning has 6 to his name as well. He's the next highest scorer on the list. So even though they've won, they've got 7 points from their last 9. They beat Monero 5-0. They beat the Tigers 5-1. We know there's goals in them, Steve, but I'm not sure they're capable of getting 7 against this Gungahlin side.
It would be a surprise. It would be a bit of a shock, to tell you the truth. But Kofi Danning has certainly been in good goal-scoring form in the last 2 or 3 weeks, so they'll be looking to him to sort of kick them off. Gungahlin will have to approach this in the same way as if the finals were still up for grabs and go out and try and get something out of the game, and that may in fact make the task for Deakin that much more difficult.
And maybe a chance for redemption for Canberra FC as well. These pair met in round 9 at Deakin Stadium, and Gungahlin shocked the Canberra Premier League on that occasion with a 2-1 victory. Jason O'Dwyer giving them the lead. Kai Edwards equalised for Canberra FC, but Jack Green won it for Gungahlin. So we know that they're capable, of course, in getting the result today, and if they did, of course, they would, academic as it would be, move above Canberra FC in the ladder and finish 4th on the overall table. Yeah,
well, it's just an incentive of itself to actually do well. Jack Green instrumental in the success of this team, and you know, if you look over their last part of the season where they've beaten the Centre of Excellence, drawn with Olympic, been to the Riverina and won, and now they have to play FC. They've had a tough run in, so it's congratulations to them on making the Final Four. Marcel Munoz must be absolutely delighted with the way they performed.
He's made a couple of changes to his side for this afternoon's match. Jason Denham starts in goal. They have a back four of Nick Rathjen, Jack Green, David Jenkins and Eli Howe. Anthony Timotheo and Anthony Georgie in the holding midfield roles with Augustin Bangura just in front of them. We expect them to be quite fluid in that midfield three, though. Michael Ronaldo, Mishko Narmoski and Jason O'Dwyer up front. It's not a bad-looking side, and there's some good quality in there.
It's actually a really good side. They've actually gelled together quite well. Their work rate last time we saw them play was phenomenal. In Georgie, they've actually got a midfielder that's got into the score sheet, got doubles in the last 2 games. Namoski's been playing well. Ronaldo's pace is really, really electric. And Jason O'Dwyer is a 100% solid citizen. So they're a decent side.
Canberra FC looking to go 3-5-2 today. Sam Brown in goal. Their back three will be Marko Verkic, Daniel Subasic, Ivan Pavlak. Midfield five, Niko Kresic, Julio Borgner, James Field, Thomas Milicevic and Matthew Waters. Up front, Kofi Danning and Nikos Kalfas, although we expect, of course, that formation to be quite fluid as well.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be more like 3 at the back, 4 in midfield and 2 in front of a central striker, 2 behind a central striker. But in Kalfas from Tuggeranong and in Danning they have a goal threat, and the boy that they signed from Woden last year, Waters, is an industrious midfielder, so they've got creativity, they've got work rate, they've got a goal threat, so this could be quite an interesting game.
For a minute there, I thought we were going to see a throwback to the old days and have 2 people kicking off, Steve. This season, of course, you can go backwards, and it's Canberra FC in the red shirts, white shorts and blue socks, taking the goal to our right here at Gungahlin enclosed. And it's an early challenge by Bangura. It's going to break for Borgner, and he'll bring it forward, looking for the run down the wing of Kalfas, but it was easily intercepted. And here's O'Dwyer at the other end, taking on Verkic, swinging it into the air, and it's only as clear as Bangura. He's got a chance here, the midfielder, to turn, swing it to the far post. Opportunity for Ronaldo early on, strikes it goalwards, and it's just flashed wide, but a bright start from Gungahlin.
Bangura's done really well. He came off the bench last time we were here and got a win and got the second goal against Centre of Excellence, and he looks a really bright prospect from Gungahlin's point of view.
Speaking of bright prospects, Steve, it's much better conditions this time around here at Gungahlin Close than it was last time. It was overcast, windy, cold day today. Glorious sunshine out there as well, and it's a little bit of wind, but not as much as there was in Canberra yesterday. No,
glorious conditions. The pitch, of course, not the best, and will affect the fluency of both teams.
Well, hopefully it's not as hard as it has been on the last couple of occasions we've been here. We'll see if it will be. That's up towards Kalfas. It's one in the air by Jenkins. And Green gets up. And that's nodded towards Danning. It's Kresic who got it on there towards Kofi Danning. And Timotheu. The ball is looking for the run of Namoski. He's got goal side briefly of Daniel Subasic, who covered well, the youngster. It's a bit short for Brown, but Sam Brown pretty good with his feet. Kalfas misjudges it, but it's going to fall for Danning. Holds off the challenge of Green. Here's Kalfas. And he wins a throw. Early stages of the game. Neither side settled just yet. But some interesting duels it looks like there's going to be around the park.
Yeah, I think both teams just are going to feel each other out for the first 10 minutes, see if they can establish some midfield domination. There's going to be bags of numbers in there, so the team that can actually come up with the most space and most creativity is going to be well served.
Well, Dwyer helped that on. Bit of head tennis in the middle of the park. Borgner gets it under control. Now finds Kresic. Goes past a couple of challenges. Danning in space to his left, and he prods that one out wide to Waters. Looking to take on Nick Rathjen, and the fullback does well. And in the end, he's going to get a corner. It's just unfortunate. It's bounced off of the Gungahlin defender. Nick Rathjen playing at right fullback today. Not usually his position, Steve.
No, he's generally a midfielder, industrious little midfielder. And we saw some of his work earlier in the game when he played the through ball through for Namovsky. That's the sort of thing that he's capable of. But today deployed on the right-hand side of a back four.
Borgner will take the corner. He's got numbers to aim for in the area, of course. There's 6 red shirts in the box. Can he pick out one of them? That's towards the far post. The header's back across goal, and it's nodded off the line, but there's a foul. And it will be a free kick. Briefly for a moment, there was a chance.
Yeah, Gungahlin employing a zonal marking from the set piece, and if people aren't tracking runners and attacking the ball, it can cause all sorts of problems.
I think it was perhaps Subasic who won the header on the far post. I couldn't quite pick him out from here. Green helps on Denham's goal kick, and that's a Subasic all over the back of Namoski. Georgie picks up the peaches. Bit of a shirt pull from Borgner. That's a chase on for O'Dwyer. Kresic has to travel back. Jason O'Dwyer putting in a good effort again to force the throw-in. Just a quick word, Jason Denham, I noticed his brother had retired in the week, according to something I saw on Facebook. So, Nathan Denham.
Yeah, wonderful servant to Sutherland, and of course played with the Blue Devils when they were in the New South Wales competition.
Well, Green's going to take this throw, and we know he's got a fairly long one into the area. There's Georgie on the chest, and he just drags back Borgner there, but referee Bruno Kell lets that one go. A bit scrappy down in front of us, in front of the main stand. And Gungahlin have another chance to reload this one from green. It's a long one into the air. That's too high for Ronaldo. A lot of qualities, Michael Ronaldo. Not renowned for his heading, though. Not the tallest player. And Rathjen is forced to go back. And Denham's going to have to be alert. And he is. Up towards halfway. Early stages, as we said, but the ball is bouncing around quite a lot. Georgie tries to get it under control. It's just clipped with the outside of the foot by Green towards Bangura. Quite a lot comes from Jack Green in this team, doesn't it? We mentioned it before when we've done Gungahlin, and it's one of those things that he's such a good player that he's at the hub of most good things they do.
He marshals the back four extremely well. He's a goal threat when he gets forward from set pieces. And his distribution from the back is usually first class.
This Canberra FC side looks a lot different to the one that started the season. Steve, we've lost Thomas James, of course, as a striker for them. We'll just come back to that in a second, as Kalfas, who joined the club from Tuggeranong halfway during the year, looking to release Kresic, but he's overhit that one, unlucky from the Greek import. Yeah, they've lost Thomas James to Tigers FC, and also Dominic Giampaolo, I understand, is no longer playing at the club, or he may be injured. Robbie Dealey is injured, and Ryan Keir is also injured as well. So some big names there in the Canberra football scene missing. Yeah,
and you know, you can throw into the mix Alex Ollerigby that went to Tuggeranong before the transfer deadline, so they've lost a lot of firepower.
But Canberra FC being Canberra FC, they're always a threat. Here's Namoski. The ball just went out of play. Tell you what, Steve, if Gungahlin get a result today, doing the double over Canberra, I don't think they've ever done that before, have they? Not that I can remember.
Not that I can recall, no. It'd be a hell of an achievement for them, that's for sure.
Well, it's been a good season for Munoz and his boys, and they've got finals football to look forward to next week, no matter what happens here. And definitely another crack at Canberra FC, unless, of course, we mentioned that the red team gets 7 goals today. Not looking likely at the moment.
No, but a good opportunity for Marcel to blood some of the younger players, and young Eli Howe's come into the back four. Was with Bill Connors under 18s last season, so he's obviously made some really good progress under Marcel.
He's Bangura, another one who's come onto the scene this year and done very well. It was Timotheo exchanging passes with O'Dwyer, unlucky not to get that back, and battling midfield is Milicevic. He found Danning. Loads of experience in Kofi Danning. Field. Verkic. Switches play to Waters. Milicevic again. Canberra FC building slowly from the back. Ivan Pavlak. We'd like to see Ivan Pavlak running the other way usually, don't we, Steve? Lots of pace for Pavlak and a real threat when he gets forward.
And a sweet left foot. They've got a couple of lads now. They're back from Victorian NPL sides. Danning, as you mentioned, and Pavlak. So there's some experience there amongst a raft of younger players. Yeah, it strikes you as it's a relatively youthful Canberra FC team, isn't it? Over the years they've been very strong. They've had some really good players in this squad, and this is a really young side in comparison to what they've had out in the number of years in the past. Yeah. I think the addition of Julian Borgner to the midfield is going to help them as far as that's concerned. He's an older head that can steady the midfield down for them. It was commentator's curse there, Steve, because that was Borgner who miscontrolled that one out for a throw-in. Yeah, never liked him. Here's Georgie. That's a good ball over the top, looking for Namoski, but unfortunately that's going to run away from, I guess it's fair to say, veteran striker now, Misko Namoski. Is he at that stage? We're getting close. I mean, I think he's still probably this side of 30, the right side of 30, but he's been around a long time as Mishko. Wish we were the right side of 30, Steve. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Stone. Both of us in that respect. Was Kalfas trying to bring it under control. Here's Bangura. Starting again, Gungahlin at the back with Green. That's unfortunate, and unlike Jack Green, to hit that one straight into touch. Daniel Subasic goes forward to take the throw. Green wins the header. Now Borgner. Bit of space out on the left-hand side if they can switch, but Field comes back to this side. Looks to find Borgner again.
Passing's pretty crisp, but it's not going anywhere at the moment. Here's Kresic to Subasic, challenged by 2, and it's the yellow shirts of Gungahlin who come away with it, and that's a foul. A little bit keen there, Daniel Subasic, after losing possession, and he's brought down Anthony Georgie.
Fairly even start, Russ. Neither team being able to sort of dominate at the moment. Nobody created a worthwhile chance. But the game will open up as time goes on.
It's Timotheo. Lost down on that occasion. Now Borgner, if he can switch this one. Again, you saw Waters was in a bit of space on that far side, Steve, but he's not used him. They've tried to keep it short and compact, and they're working it quite well through the midfield with Milicevic and Borgner. Now they go wide to Waters, but he has to track back about 10 metres to pick that one up. And Milicevic giving it away to Timotheo. And whilst it's neat and tidy from Canberra FC in this area, it's not in a penetrating zone at the moment, is it?
No, they're playing a lot of neat football in the midfield third without really creating any sort of threat.
Well, what's Borgner got now? He's got a bit of space in which to work on this right flank. Green comes across, as he normally does, and gets a foot in.
I think their opportunity, if you can drag Jack Green out of the middle like that and then find a pass, got a better chance of creating something through the middle.
Well, it's rather interesting when they're looking at their lineup. We were told that Jenkins would partner Green in the middle. It looks like Green's actually playing on the left-hand side, and Eli Howe has gone across to the middle there, where he is challenging Kofi Danning now.
Yeah.
He's giving that one away, though, to Kresic. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Here's Nico Kresic, space for Danning, shooting chance pass for Kofi Danning, and it's struck the crossbar. It's going to fall for Kresic, who keeps it alive. The first real chance of the game. Waters swings it in with that left foot, and Borgner's coming in on it, and it's bounced off of Danning, and it's an unfortunate handball, and a good chance there for Kofi Danning. Struck it well, but Denham was beaten, the crossbar rattled.
Yeah, goalkeeper's friend to his rescue. Very little backlift with Denning then, but he hit it sweetly. Very unlucky.
So looking back at that change in the formation we're seeing there, with Jack Green playing on this left-hand side, Eli Howe alongside Jenkins in the middle, do you think that's something to do with the pace of Kresic?
I don't know. Certainly Jack Green will look after this side, and Eli is far more comfortable playing in a central position. But Jack played in this position against Olympia when they drew 3-3, so it's probably about familiarity.
Well, here's a great chance for Ronaldo. He's got goal side opportunity as he goes in the penalty for Michael Ronaldo. Fires it across goal, but it's just always fading wide of that post. Brown was beaten for that one, but I think he might have had his angles. Good chance again there for Ronaldo. They broke the offside trap.
Yeah, Mickey Ronaldo's pace has troubled most teams this year, and he did again today. But the game just starting to open up a little bit. Chances at both ends.
So looking at this again, Steve, as you're seeing the lineup here, maybe it looks like they are trying something new, Gungahlin. They maybe have 3 at the back with these 3 boys marking the front 2 and Rathjen pushing forward a little bit.
Well, it may be just a reaction to the way Canberra FC have set up, yeah.
Well, keep an eye on that throughout the game. Be interesting to see whether that's something that Marcel's just trying today. Marcel Munoz, of course, the coach of Gungahlin United, got his team into finals football. Kalfas is beaten in the air by Green. Field wins the midfield duel with Timotheo. It's hacked forward towards Ronaldo, and on this occasion he couldn't get on the end of it. Now Namoski challenges Subasic. Georgie does well to bring that down. And Bangura and Timotheo find Howe. Ronaldo's not going to reach that one, though. Ivan Pavlak read that. Certainly got enough pace to get in front of Mickey Ronaldo. Now Danning against Howe. Opposite ends of the experience spectrum there, Steve.
Yeah. But he's done well, Eli. He's played it safe, got it out of play, nullified the threat. Defensive duties come first, and he's done well.
Well, Field won that one back, but they've lost it again. Now Subasic has to be careful. He's giving it away to Georgie, who's got lots of time. Decides to go to Howe. Now Rathjen and Ronaldo. They've worked that one out quite well. Back to Rathjen again, though. Seem to get themselves out of the problem and then put themselves back in it again. Borgner has possession for Canberra FC in the centre circle. And Verkic goes all the way back to Brown, and both sides struggling to keep control of the ball, Steve, for more than 5 or 6 passes. Yeah,
definitely the 2 up front from FC have forced Gungahlin to play a more compact 3, with Nicky Rathjen looking to sort of press into midfield.
There's Milicevic. Danning's come deep to collect and swings the right boot at it to this near side where Kresic brings it down. Bangura, though, was sharply on him, concedes the throw. Kresic finds Danning again, turns, perhaps has a shooting opportunity, lays it off instead to Field, who winds one up from distance, strikes it goal, it's spilt by the keeper. Kresic goes in, but the flag's up, and it wouldn't have counted, and referee Bruno Kell rightly says play on, but danger again there as Field line one up from distance.
Another one, like we were saying with Julian Borgner, that can add a little bit of experience.
And Borgner's robbed Green, and there's a chance perhaps for him to enter the area, but there's no one in support, and in the end his ball towards the far post is more in hope than expectation, and there was literally nobody to hit.
Yeah, I mean, with the player of his experience, he's better off being patient and keeping possession rather than just swinging something hopeful into the penalty area.
Well, for a moment there, it looked like he had a chance to run in on goal as well, and either didn't have the pace to do so or he chose not to do so. It's Kresic, had a lot of ball early on, Nico Kresic. Miscontrols that one, though. Looking at the benches today, Gungahlin have Yusuf Mohammed, Frano Blazovic, Osman Darami, Ryan Quarmby and James Benevento. Canberra FC have Mitch Kay, the goalkeeper, Jordan Lamb, Ian Graham, Ross Costanzo and Michael Mensah on their bench. Ian Graham, usually playing in this team, tells me before kick-off he's been playing central defence for the last couple of weeks, which is interesting for him. Yeah, he's on 3 yellow cards as well, Steve, so probably not worth the gamble.
No. Particularly the sort of player he is. He does mix it with the opponent, so not worth risking missing a match next week.
Kalfas went short and he's won himself a free kick. Nikos Kalfas, an interesting character, isn't he? Looks like when you watch him play, he's got all the ability and all the skill in the world, but sometimes doesn't apply it. Yeah,
I think most teams are starting to work him out now. He's very, very right foot dominated. He can't get onto his left foot. He can't use his left foot. And teams are just, although wary of his finishing ability, know that they can actually make it hard for him by keeping him on his left foot.
Well, when he gets a bit of space, though, he can be a danger. So Canberra FC will be looking to work him into openings today. And Kresic and Borgner, who are challenging for this ball, the guys most likely to try and do that. Namoski is looking for a free kick, and he's going to get one. Little dabble at his ankles there from Thomas Milicevic. Georgie goes quickly with a rolling ball, so he'll have to start that one again. Interesting midfield battle at the moment, Steve. Nothing really happening in the final thirds.
Yeah, it's a scrappy little skirmish. A little bit of composure will go a long way.
Here's Georgie. Space for Howe. He's definitely playing in the back three on that occasion. A ball through towards Ronaldo, and he couldn't quite get on the end of it. We seem to have said that over the last few weeks, commentating, Steve. The first 15, 20 minutes of games have been rather scrappy of late, as teams jostle for finals positions.
I mean, the pleasing thing about this one is that both teams are playing with the right sort of intensity rather than just your run-of-the-mill end of season, finish up and look forward to the finals. Both teams are trying to win.
Well, Pavlak brings this one forward. Field collects off of Danning. Looking for options, and the only one he's got is either Verkic back or can he pick something out further forward. Looks for Waters, and that's a decent looking ball as well. If Matthew Waters can keep this in, he does, and swings a left-footed cross in. It's a good ball as well, and it's well covered by David Jenkins out for a throw-in. But Waters did well to swing that one in.
Yeah, it was a good break, good ball in behind. Nicky Rathen just caught out. Probably his unfamiliarity with that particular position, but Waters did well. Got a good ball in, and Danning very nearly on the end of it.
Good threat from the two FC wingers today so far. Here's Pavlak, looking to create some space of his own, taking on Rathjen. Near post ball is cleared by Howe, bounces off the referee though, and he has to do it a second time. Got luckier on the second occasion. And Verkic just pops that one back into the corner. The flag's gone up against Kofi Danning.
Gungahlin just a little bit guilty of playing things into battles, as instead of playing on little angles or making runs on little angles, they're just playing straight balls, and FC are reading it too easily.
We can see Marcel Munoz has stood up on the edge of his technical area, contemplating what's going on, where Marko Verkic and Martin Natigi sat down in the box, seemingly quite comfortable. Milicevic wins the header, and Field volleys that one out for a throw-in on the far side.
Yeah, it's all a little bit harem-scarum, isn't it? Everybody wanting to play a little bit too quickly. Just somebody to get the foot on the ball will have a huge influence on this game.
Throwing on the Bunnings warehouse size. That's got to be the biggest Bunnings warehouse in the entire of Australia, isn't it? It's huge. Pretty busy little location, Gungahlin, on a Sunday. Fair few people here in the grandstand. A lot of people taking the option of standing in the sunshine now before it dips behind this stand and it gets a bit cold.
Yes, it was lovely in the sunshine earlier on. Nice day.
Dragged you away from the sunshine up into the commentary position, Steve. At least it's not howling with wind like it was, like I said, a couple of weeks ago. It's back with Brown. FC will start again. Looks for Kalfas. Green needs to be careful and heads it into space. It's going to fall for Kresic. Gets there first and just helps it on its way towards Danning. Back to Waters. His field. Waters again. Looks to go past Rathjen, who thought he might have brought him down, but in the end it seems he must have got a touch on the ball and it's a throw-in.
Yeah, look, I don't know. If that's not a free kick, then it must be a Gungahlin throw from my point of view.
Yeah, maybe he got a touch on the ball as he went in for the challenge.
Yeah, we're a long way away, aren't we?
Certainly are. It's Ronaldo looking to skip away from a challenge. Should have perhaps played it earlier. The run was on. But Canberra FC comfortable in possession. They're back again, and Sam Brown playing as an auxiliary sweeper. Milicevic, and now Verkic rather more directly thumps that one up the field towards Kresic. It's won by Bangura. Namoski heads it in field, and Borgner beats Georgie to it and finds Danning, who advances forward. The runner outside him is Kresic. Back to Danning again, right-footed, swings that one in, and it's almost dipping towards goal. It's pushed away by Denham as far as Borgner. Can't get the shot away, chips it back into the danger area. It's headed away towards Kalfas on the edge of the area, brings it down, goes past one challenge, looking to get the shot away. Kalfas still going, and in the end he's won his team a corner. But danger once more.
Yeah, great save from Denham in goals for Gungahlin. Borgner had the opportunity then to either finish or set it up on the edge of the box, but just dwelled on in possession.
Well, it actually went out just by the corner flag for a throw-in, rather than a corner.
Jack Green getting a good foot in again.
Kresic looked for Kalfas, but it was a bit inaccurate. And in the end, it's pushed forward up towards O'Dwyer. Verkic just muscles him off the ball. Thought about going backwards, but that had been read by Namoski, so just hooked it over his own head. And Canberra FC are going to get the throw. That shot from Danning, I'm assuming it was a shot or a miss-hit cross. It was certainly had Denham backpedaling with the sunshine in his eyes. Yeah,
it did. He did. I mean, he's a big man, and he's got to get himself moving quickly, but he's put off a decent save there.
And as you said, perhaps Borgner would have been better invested in hitting a first-time left-foot shot back across goal. Easy to say from up here, though, isn't it?
Don't make many mistakes from up here.
Yeah. Not many. Another throw-in for Canberra FC. Midway through the first half here, live on Bar TV Sports. PS4 MPL action from Canberra and Capital Football. Gungahlin United 0, Canberra FC 0. Kalfas finds Kresic. Gets away from Namoski a bit too easily then. Swings that one in, looking on the far post for Waters. He couldn't get a full connection, and Eli Howe can bring it away into the space that Waters has vacated. Looking for a runner. Comes in field to Timotheo. A lot of space for Namoski on the near side, and it's a throw-in for Gungahlin.
I think Marcel will be looking at Mishko Namovsky when Gungahlin are going forward to try and take up a more central role when Jason O'Dwyer vacates that 9 position. At the moment, he's just tending to hang wide on the left-hand side, and it's not giving them an option through the middle if they need it.
Well, his field advancing into Gungahlin territory. Looking for Danning, who's got there. There's a runner on this near side. Kresic is going to get in behind Bangura here. Nico Kresic advancing into the area. Doesn't shoot, and he cuts it back for the onrushing field, when it would have seemed from our angle the right-footed shot would have been the better option. Unselfish.
Yeah, I mean, it nearly paid off anyway, but he probably would have been better off having a shot, because even if Denham saves it, Field's in for a tap-in with the rebound.
Good vision from Danning, though, to pick him out.
Yeah.
On the far post, you could see the run, and Bangura, if he's going to play in this wide left position, is going to need to track that runner. We've seen a lot of quality from Augustin Bangura going forward, haven't we, Steve? Defensively, looks a little bit shy on a couple of occasions.
Yeah, I think both him and Namoski down this left-hand side are a bit of a vulnerability as far as Gungahlin is concerned, and if Green does get dragged out of his left-back spot, then there may be opportunities for FC.
Kalfas brings it under control, and Kresic gives it away. It was a good hustle in the middle of the park by Anthony Georgie. Here is Bangira in an attacking sense. Does well to get past the challenge of Borgner and just feed it into the path of Howe. Timotheu. And that's Rathjen who gives it back to Timotheu. Nicely worked. And here's Ronaldo on the overlap. Pulls it back into the air. Georgie's there. Real chance this is. Dwyer can't get a foot in. Georgie can as well. And in the end, it's hooked clear by Kresic, and that was a better chance than it probably looked for as well. At the other end, here come Canberra FC. Kaufas into the channel. Jenkins goes across and is too strong for the striker. But what a chance that was for Gungahlin.
Yeah, they did really well down that right-hand side. Some nice combinations, a little cutback from Ronaldo. But credit to FC, scrambled well, got defenders in the right spots, and were able to clear it away. Beautiful
turn from Georgie to create the space for himself inside the 6-yard box, but he couldn't quite get his foot on it. I think him and Jason Dwyer almost got in each other's way at one stage, and Kresic tidied up the pieces. But encouraging signs for Gungahlin in an attacking sense.
Yeah, particularly down that right-hand side where you would expect Pavlak to have the experience and the quality to actually deal with Ronaldo, but he's got in a couple of times now.
Rathjen helps it on its way to O'Dwyer. He's peeled wide. Howe. Rather miskicked in the middle of the park by Rathjen. Unfortunate from the youngster.
Yeah.
And FC get the throw.
When you need a bit of composure, it goes missing, doesn't it? A little bit of pressure applied, it can do funny things to players.
He's been fairly settled, doesn't he, in the first 20 minutes? He's had a few battles down that left-hand touchline. Waters has given him a couple of things to think about, and says Pavlak on the turn.
He's another former Belconnen player that we rated very highly when he was at the club, but he chose Gungahlin for more first-grade football, and he's done really well while he's been here.
Well, here's Jenkins, spreading it to Green in the shadows of the main grandstand. Clips that one over the top, looking for the run of Nomoski. Subasic has got across to cover this, and does well, the young defender, to see that one out. Nicely shepherded out for the goal kick.
Great movement from Nomoski, though. He came towards the ball, then checked off the shoulder of the defender and tried to get in behind, but the defender read it really well.
Beautiful sunny afternoon in Canberra for the PS4 MPL. No goals yet. Hoping we get some before the end of the day. 11 yesterday in the 3 matches. Kaufas wins that header. Interestingly enough, apart from the Riverina, who scored 1 goal, the other 10 goals were scored by 5 players who each got a double, Steve. Quite rare, I think that might be.
What would that pay on Bet365?
We're not allowed to gamble, Steve, so we wouldn't know. My wife doesn't let me. Here's Green making his first advancing run of the afternoon. Borgner wins the tackle from Bangira. Kresic to Milicevic. And he thought Waters was out making the run, but in the end all he did was find Rathjen, who finds Waters for him anyway. Yeah. Milicevic. Field. Not really much movement ahead for him at the moment, and they've given the ball away again. Jenkins goes back to Denham. Gets a pitching wedge out for that one to Jason Denham. Borgner nods it into the path of Kaufas. Looking to turn Green. Still going. A bit of a clip on his ankle there by Anthony Georgie, and that's a free kick, and Bruno Kell says no more of that to Anthony Georgie. Bit of a frustrated flick at him there. Not a lot in it.
Yeah, he was going nowhere, no need for it, but gives FC an opportunity to swing something into the box.
Well, Borgner will do that. Not got too many huge heights, tall people to hit at the back. It's not a very tall FC side, is it, really, Steve? It's they've got Subasic, really, and that's about it.
You would expect Jack Green and David Jenkins, Eli Howe and co to deal with anything swung into the box like that.
And Daniel Subasic, the tallest of the Canberra FC players, gets forward often for those set pieces. This is Kaufas, looking to pull out the bags of tricks. Pavlak. Cross goes Howe with Danning and shoulder to shoulder. Good old-fashioned charge there from both of them, and the referee says that was okay.
Yep, throw in, restart. Games just needs a bit of a spark, Russ. Just gone a bit quiet.
Both on and off the pitch, really, doesn't it? It's a bit quiet in the stand, it's a bit quiet on the field. Not a lot happening either way. Here's Waters looking to provide it. Subasic comes in on the far post, wins a header, but it always flashed down past the post, and there's the aerial threat that we just mentioned of Daniel Subasic up from the back. not shy to get involved, is he, in a forward sense?
No, and I guess if they're going to get any joy from crosses, they'll need his aerial ability at the far post.
And Denham didn't really move towards that one. If that had been on target, it would have been interesting to see if he had got across. Experienced keeper may well have just had the angles covered. They all say that, don't they?
Yeah, if you asked him at half-time, he'd say he knew what was going on.
Thumps that goal kick up towards halfway, where Georgie challenges with Borgner. Bounces around and Milicevic helps it forward to Kalfas. Jenkins is in quickly though, and it's broken for O'Dwyer. Now then, bit of space for Namoski in this left channel. Pulls it into the penalty. Ronaldo's made the run across his marker and he failed to get a touch on it. Pavlak, in the end, bundles it behind for a corner, but a good run across his marker from Ronaldo. Well picked out by Namoski, but unfortunately Gungahlin not able to get a shot on target.
No, great movement, but he needs to be a little bit more positive in trying to keep possession. I think if he'd tried to control that, he might have been better off and forced a decision out of Pavlak.
Promising signs though. Got in front of his marker quite easily there. An opportunity from the set piece, which Georgie will send into the box, and this is what we mentioned at the other end. There is plenty of height in the Gungahlin team, and up one is Jack Green coming in and thumps it goalwards and scores for Gungahlin. And that was far too simple as far as Canberra FC are concerned. Georgie picks him out. Green wins a header, 1-0 Gunners.
Yeah, free header. Jack Green's not going to miss them, but good ball in. Poor reaction from the FC defenders where nobody made a challenge at all. Jack Green, you know, tracking O'Dwyer's run and Ronaldo's movement, and he just ended up in space with a free header and simple finish for him.
Jack Green's been doing that a long, long time in Canberra, getting his head on corners like that, and we mentioned it in an attacking, the attacking third for Canberra FC, but defensively, of course, there's not much height there, and Jack Green makes them pay. It's 1-0, first goal of the afternoon, first set piece, I think that is, that Gunners have probably dropped into a decent area.
Ironically, it's the way they've set up that's stopped Jack Green from free play getting forward, so from set pieces, he's going to pose more of a threat.
But defensively, he needs to be on his mettle here. As Kresic took him on, Danning came across to pick up the pieces, looking to create something for Canberra FC. Borgner to Milicevic. Steps over the ball but loses out to Jenkins. Now Borgner. Kresic. Swings it in the penalty. A good ball. Danning's goal side and should have equalised. Really should have scored. It must have got a touch off of Denham as it's a corner been given, so the keeper must give him a bit of credit. He must have got something on that.
He stayed big, but he I mean, it's a golden opportunity. Should probably have been finished. I don't know that Denham knew much about it, but he's there to keep him out and he's done that.
Yeah, Danning really should have equalised there from 6 yards out. Got a good piece of it and it must have come off of Denham. It's a Canberra FC corner, but a warning sign for Gungahlin not to get complacent. They conceded, well, they scored rather, off of a set piece at the other end. Now they're defending this one. Waters with his left boot swings it in. It's a good corner too. Won by Jenkins. Danning leaps underneath the ball. It's just prodded back in towards Kalfas. It's fallen for Danning. This is a shooting chance. Kofi Danning! And a great save down low by Jason Denham. Great reflexes from the big man to get down and push that one past the post for a corner.
Just winding up a little bit now, FC. Shocked by going behind. Turning the screws a little bit, looking for that equaliser.
And a superb save that from Jason Denham. He's got a big frame on him, but he gets down very well.
Yeah, he did really well. But they've got to clear the lines. I mean, they're dropping things on the edge of the box. That's going to cause problems for them.
A Waters set piece caused issues just a second ago. Can he deliver another left footer in towards the penalty area? It's deeper this time towards the far post. Volleyed in by Pavlak. And I think, in fact, it was Fields, was it, that came in on the far post, and the volley came in and it was well saved by Denham again. It was Field. And a soft free kick. And Canberra FC go quickly. Here's Danning. Space for Borgner. He likes a shot from distance, and that one's not going to trouble the goalkeeper. Good corner that time from Waters. Field peeled off to the far post and got a decent connection on it.
Yeah, and once again, Denham equal to the task. He's got good hands, good save, and then good distribution to get him out, and a little bit unlucky because they were on the break, but Rafton got pulled up for a handball that looked a bit dodgy.
It's fair to say in the last 7 or 8 minutes we've had more action than we had in the opening 25. We
wanted a spark, and we got one with the goal, didn't we?
Danning's gone close. Could have had a hat-trick, of course. He's hit the crossbar and missed what probably was a sitter there, and then the keeper's denied him with a decent save as well. Most of the goal threat's been at that end, but the goal has been to the one to our left. Jack Green's header, separating the sides. Here's Danning. Waters is going to get in here. Opportunity on that left foot. Strikes it, and it's punched up in the air by Denham, and it's going to drop for a corner. In fact, Green's got there first and just volleyed it out for a throw-in, and here come Canberra FC, and a good hit from Waters and another good save from Denham.
Yeah, cheap turnover in midfield, quick break, forward pass, and Denham again to the rescue.
Well, Danning's starting to exert some influence on this one. Trying to get away from Georgie. Bangira gets involved, and that's a free kick as well. Certainly come to the fore, isn't he, Kofi Danning, over the last few minutes?
Yeah, very much involved. I think him and Milosevic have been really busy, to tell you the truth. They've been probably the best players.
Well, probably prime attacking position for FC again. I'm surprised that Waters' left foot isn't swinging this one in, considering the last two he's put in. But Borgner's taken over the set-piece duties. And he swings a good one in too, up towards the penalty spot, bounces down. This is a real chance. Must be an equaliser. It is. Pavlak puts it in, but the flag is up, and it will not count. And he did look offside from here, you'd have to say. When it was prodded past the goalkeeper, there was a couple of yards in it, unless there was a Gungahlin player on the line.
Well, the linesman's in the best position to see, but that looked to come off, I thought, a Gungahlin player, did it not?
I think it did, but then I think as the keeper challenged with, I think it was Kresic, I think Kresic knocked it past the goalkeeper, and that was probably what caused Pavlak to be offside. We haven't got the benefit of the replay here, but I'm sure everyone looking at home can look at that later on and make their own minds up.
Yeah.
But they're getting closer. It's wave upon wave of red-shirted attacks at the moment.
A lot of the threat has come from set pieces too. We're just saying that we thought that Gungahlin would be able to deal with that, but they haven't yet.
They've not really put a head on it when it's mattered, and they've been some dangerous balls into some good areas. This is Howe. Dwyer, when he's giving that one away to Borgner, a bit cheaply. And Canberra FC with Pavlak dancing around the ball. Space for Field, who goes towards his near side, but Bangira's read that one. Looks for the 1-2. But Timotheus' pass back was picked out by Kresic. Milicevic slides in, and that's a high one from Thomas Milicevic. It's not pretty, and that's a definite yellow card.
Interesting that it's a yellow card here. In the under-20s game, we saw a send-off for something similar with the goalkeeper, and it was a straight red.
Certainly more force in that challenge from Milicevic on Jenkins than there was in that reserve grade game that we watched.
Yes.
I could guess the only thing that saved him was his studs were not showing, really. They went off the floor, so...
Stings, though. I can understand David Jenkins knowing that he's been in the tackle.
It may have been a distinct case of orange in that one. Gave a very quick yellow, though. Didn't think about it, did Bruno Cal.
And it keeps both teams at 11 apiece.
Absolutely. Which is what we want to see. Here's Howe to Rathjen. Back to the goal scorer, Green.
How's the goal difference looking now, Ross? What do they need now? 7 or 8?
Canberra FC would need to win by 7, so they still needed to win 8-1. So we're going to have a heck of a second half if that's the case. Here's Jenkins, and that was another slide in, this time by Subasic on Jenkins. That's come off the post, the corner flag rather, and it's out for a throw. I don't know what David Jenkins has done, but he's rattled a few feathers, hasn't he? A couple of slides in on him there.
Yeah, he's a very highly rated actual central defender, is David Jenkins. He was first came to notice under Dean Ugrinnick at Woden before his move to Gungahlin, and he is a very, very decent player.
Well, he's on this near side taking the throw in. Bangira goes down. A little nick to the ankle there, I think. One of those frustrating free kicks that you give away as a player when you're going for the ball and you just nick the opposition.
Yeah, again, this is a little bit weird. This is the guy that scored taking the free kick. You'd think that you'd push him in the box.
Maybe he only goes up for corners.
But now they're in trouble, you know.
Well, Jenkins is going to have to go square. Kaufas was the only one that chased it, though, so there's acres and acres of Gungahlin enclosed oval for Eli Howe to run into. And pass it down the line towards Ronaldo, who's turned his man and got away here. Michael Ronaldo pings it across the 6-yard box, and that's good defending from Verkic to turn it back.
It is, but in transition, Gungahlin needs to do better. Must get people in front of that defender.
Well, Ronaldo seems to have the pace on Pavlak at the moment, doesn't he?
Well, it was a great turn. Little dummy and he did him for pace.
Here's Georgie having a good game in the middle of the park. As I say that, he passes it out of the field of play. Happens all the time, doesn't it? Kresic takes a throw, and Green wins the header. 5.5 minutes to half-time, live on Bar TV Sports. PS4 MPL coverage from Canberra. Gungahlin United 1, Canberra FC 0. As it stands, Gungahlin United would go above Canberra FC and finish 4th on the ladder. These two will play each other next week, of course, because in Canberra, the FFA Centre of Excellence, who finished 2nd overall, are ineligible for finals, and they're done as a organisation. They finished off yesterday with a 2-0 win over Gungahlin United.
Yep.
So they finished off on a high.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it's sad to see the demise of such an effective program, but, you know, on the other hand, the A-League clubs need to be stepping up and taking responsibility for development of junior players, and you can understand why the FFA might have closed them down.
Mirza Muratovic scored a couple of goals for them yesterday. He's got over a dozen or so Premier League goals this year, so you'd be surprised if he's not picked up somewhere next year.
I think a lot of them have been trialling, and a few of them have picked up youth team contracts, and I think over the course of the summer a few others will get picked up.
Back to the action here, and Timotheo feeds Howe. He's looked fairly comfortable, Eli Howe, in possession. Back to Timotheo again. He's not quite caught that one as well as he would have liked to. Milicevic pumps it forward to Kaufas, who brings it down and then asks an awful lot of Kofi Danning with the return. You can see what he was trying to do. Didn't get his foot across the ball enough to fizz it into the path of Danning. Georgie. He's playing the fulcrum playmaker role in the absence of Regan Walsh, who's suspended today.
Yeah, well, Regan's been playing in the back four as well in the absence of Jenkins or Green, and you thought they would miss a player of his quality, but so far they've done really well without him. Yeah,
I've seen Walsh play centre-back here, and I've seen him play in a holding midfield role when they played Tuggeranong at Canberra. Very versatile player, sitting in the stands not too far from where we are, probably tearing his hair out.
He'll be delighted with the result at the moment.
Absolutely. Probably wishes he was out there, though. His field, looking to hold off Green. Rathjen's gone across to get a foot in, and it's come off Howe's heel. Pavlak. And he comes in a bit late, Ivan Pavlak, on Howe, and he becomes the second Canberra FC player to see yellow.
It'd be interesting to see how many of these FC players are actually on yellow cards, or 3 yellow cards, and they don't want to be sort of missing next week as a result of suspension.
Well, we'll check with David Jordan from Capital Football at half-time, I think.
Yeah.
See if anybody's in danger of a suspension. I know that Ian Graham is. That's why he's on the bench.
Yeah, Belconnen were the same yesterday with Matty Gabesha and Cam Reinhardt. They sat on the bench yesterday.
Denham, who's had a good first half, thumps this one forward. 2.5 minutes or so to go till half-time. It's going to fall for Kresic, but Nomoski's stronger in the tackle. Slides in the runner, who's Ronaldo, who clips it across the area, and that almost was picked up by Timotheo, and Brown clutches the ball to his chest and looks to get his team going early with Waters. Gets a bit lucky, Matthew Waters. Now Field. Danning is across with Jenkins, and Jenkins just sees him out for a throw-in. He's coped with him quite well. Kofi Danning's been the biggest threat, though, for Canberra FC in the front third, hasn't he? Yeah,
Kaufas has been a little bit quiet, hasn't he? But Danning looks to be on form. And I think if they're going to get something out of the game before half-time, which we haven't got much time to go, but if they're going to get something at all, then Danning might be the avenue forward.
Yeah, he's looked sharp. Been denied by the crossbar, been denied by Jason Denham, and been denied by what I would suggest is a poor finish as well. So could have had a couple of goals. Here he is again, looking to cause problems, and he's got goal side again, looking to take on Howe, and just drops a shoulder and leaves him for dead into the penalty area, but Bangura's there. Couldn't pick out anyone in the box, and Rathjen does well, not once but twice. Verkic wins the header there. Nice turn from Waters. Now Borgner's got the pace to get here. Bangura's chasing him down, and the Gungahlin defenders got there first, and he sees it out for a throw-in. Well, in fact,
off Rathjen, so he's made an error of judgment, shall we say?
Yeah, well picked up there, Steve. 60 seconds left of the first half. Gungahlin lead 1-0 thanks to that header from Jack Green. Bagheera's put that into his own penalty area, and Georgie's got to deal with it. Kalfas got there first, though, and it's a corner. So perhaps a last chance for Canberra FC to get something. Subasic, as you'd expect, jogging into position. In fact, they're pretty much setting everybody up for this one except Thomas Milicevic.
Yeah. Brown's in the centre circle. The situation then where Georgie has to clear, he got less than a minute to half time, and he misses his header. I mean, Marcel will be ropeable.
Pavlak swings in the corner towards the far post. It's a good one. A heap of bodies go up, and it's bounced off of a yellow shirt and will be another corner.
Yeah. Eli Howe did really well, got it away.
Big cluster of players leaping for that ball. Thought at one stage one of them might take a mark. This is an AFL field. After all, you can see the post in the background there. As Julian Borgner strolls down, what do they call that, full forward? That position to pick the ball up. It's a corner kick. Borgner will take it. We're into stoppage time at the end of the first half. Shouldn't be too much of that, I would imagine. Borgner swings it in. Vukic goes up. It's going to fall for Pavlak. Back towards Danning. Can he get a shot away? It's a difficult bouncing ball to him. Pavlak has space, though. Wants it on that left foot. And it's charged down. And as far as field, swings it back towards the far post. It's going to come to Borgner, who started this move off initially from the corner. Looking to take on Rathjen. And swing it into the penalty area. It's deep again. It's fallen for Pavlak, and he's not got that right at all. Horrible finish from Ivan Pavlak.
Horrible finish, but concerted pressure towards the end of the first half by FC. I think we can expect more of that in the second half.
Absolutely. Pavlak had come across to this near side. Very left-footed player, of course, and you could see what was in his mind, trying to flash that one back first time, but got it wrong on that occasion. We know he's a much better player than that. Referee Bruno Kells looked at his watch. Probably going to call this half to a close very shortly, as Denham sends it into the sky here, and he certainly does. A whistle goes for half-time, and Steve, Gungahlin United lead with that goal from Jack Green. The concerted pressure, though, has been mostly from Canberra FC, but you don't take your chances, you can get punished.
No, and FC have definitely created the better chances in the half. They'll be disappointed with the marking and the defending from the goal that they have conceded. Jack Green, well known to be a threat from in the air, and he's finished really well. FC have certainly dominated possession. You can expect a similar sort of story in the second half, I believe, but like you say, if they don't take the chances, then Gungahlin will be very, very pleased with the outcomes.
Well, at the moment, Gungahlin United have pushed themselves up onto the fourth place on the ladder, as we mentioned. It's a bit of a misnomer, really, of course, as we know that the FA Centre of Excellence can't qualify for finals. So both these teams will be in finals. At the moment, though, Gungahlin United, the team with the upper hand. The Jack Green header about half an hour into the match has given them the lead at half-time here at Gungahlin Enclosed. It's Gungahlin 1, Canberra FC 0. So welcome back to Gungahlin in close for this PS4 MPL match live on Bar TV Sports. At half-time, Gungahlin United, the hosts, lead Canberra FC by 1-0. Steve, I checked at half-time for the anybody on card trouble from either side, and only Ian Graham, who's on the bench, is in card trouble, which is a good thing. And got a half-time score from down at Nijong Oval as well. Tigers 4, Woden Western FC 1. Goals from Nicholas Abbott 2, Mark Shields and Goran Jozefovski for the Tigers. Daniel Kukovski scoring for Woden Western, as he's done pretty much all season, Daniel Kukovski.
Yeah, apparently it was 4-0 after 25 minutes, and then Daniels pulled one back.
So Tigers finding all the goals that they were looking for against Belconnen last week in 25 minutes at home. That will be frustrating for Gabby.
Yeah, amazing what happens when the pressure goes off.
Well, looking around these two teams, can't see any changes at the moment. So as we were, Gungahlin United in the yellow shirts, black shorts and black socks, kicking off. Jason Denham in goal. The back four of Nick Rathjen, Jack Green, David Jenkins and Eli Howe. Anthony Timotheo, Anthony Georgie and Augustin Bangura in midfield. Up front, Michael Ronaldo, Mishka Nomoski and Jason O'Dwyer. Canberra FC, Sam Brown in goal, Marko Verkic, Daniel Subasic and Ivan Pavlak. Niko Klesic, Julian Borgner, James Field, Thomas Milicevic, Matthew Waters across the middle. Kofi Danning, Nikos Kalfas up front for Canberra FC. Steve, plenty of opportunities for Canberra FC in the first half, so they're not lacking openings. Do you think we'll see much of the same in the second?
I expect it to be a mirror image of the first half. Where Gungahlin defend with some desperation and work hard to press. FC dominant in possession and creating those half chances, and a little bit of luck they can convert one and we go all square. But Gungahlin very dangerous on the break.
Well, we've got a delay here, as you can see. Referee Bruno Kell chatting with FC goalkeeper Sam Brown, and obviously there's something wrong with the nets at that end of the field. What do you think he's looking for?
If it's not secured properly, I mean, it doesn't look to be too much trouble there.
It doesn't look to be. We're looking...
It doesn't seem to have changed much from the first half, and it was okay then.
Well, there was a lot of the Gungahlin subs kicking around in that goal at half-time, so obviously someone's got a bullet shot. Whoever it is, get him on straight away. Could be Frano Blazovic. I've seen him strike a ball once or twice.
Yeah, he's got a decent shot on. It looks like the maintenance fellas are on the way.
Yep, so a bit of a delay, start the second half. Just to set the scene again, as we mentioned, at the moment, the top five in the table, which includes Canberra FC, FFA Centre of Excellence rather, Olympic first, FFA Centre of Excellence finished the table second but can't qualify for finals, Belco third, Gungahlin will be fourth if it finishes like this, and SC fifth, which will mean next Saturday we'll have Belconnen against Canberra Olympic at Deakin Stadium at 4 p.m. And Gungahlin United will be the nominal home team against Canberra FC at Woden FC, Woden Western, Woden Park, 4 p.m. Sunday.
So the major semis on Saturday at 4.
Major semi, the qualification final, 1v2,
yep.
On Saturday at Deakin, and the elimination final, 3v4 on Sunday. We look like we've sorted out our net issue. Everyone can breathe easier, sleep well at nights now.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Well, let's hope we get a bit of action in there. They've fixed it by using a bit of black masking tape. You can see there the old electrical tape. Wrapped it around the crossbar. Old school football. As we kick off. Remember the parks there, Steve, when you have all sorts of multicoloured tapes on the crossbars?
Oh, absolutely. It's page 48 of the curriculum.
The Canberra FC looking to get back into the game. 1-0 down at the break. But it's Gungahlin with the ball early in the second half. Timotheo goes back to Denham, who's made a number of good saves in that first half. Green, who's playing a bit wider on the left at the start of the second period. Plays a bit of keepy-uppy with Bangura. There's one in the air by Subasic, and no one wants to get it down. Kalfas does so in the end, but his pass is a bit weak, and it's easily picked up on this side by Rathjen, and via the boot of Ronaldo and Georgie, Gungahlin can start again. Green, beautiful bit of skill from Jack Green to go past two challenges, and there's the ball down the line towards Nimoski, and across comes Verkic. He's had enough of that and just banks it out of play, and it's actually bounced and kept in on that far side, and Green nods it out himself.
Jack Green versus Canberra FC at the moment.
Probably one of the best players in Canberra, you think, Jack Green?
strong rumours that he may be on his way to Sydney next year. I don't know where the club can confirm that, but
during the...
I don't know about that. I think it's more to do with his partner than it is about football, from what I've heard.
Well, if he does move to Sydney, I'm sure there'll be a raft of New South Wales Premier League clubs looking to take up his services. He won't be struggling for offers. Here's Pavlak at the back, who can tell him all about going interstate. He was down in Victoria in the NPL down there for a while. It's a good run from Kresic, but he's been robbed of possession by Green. Now O'Dwyer. He's lost it as well, and no one's really got it under control at the moment. Here's O'Dwyer, though, looking to try and find something for Nomoski in the middle. Ronaldo gets in, it breaks for Nomoski, touches it back to Georgie. Shooting chance on edge here from Georgie, but he's not got hold of it at all, and it trundles its way through to Sam Brown, who gets us straight on the way to Waters on this near side, who skips away from the challenge of Rathjen and still going. And in the end, Georgie comes across and rather unceremoniously dumps him to the floor. Got the ball first, though, and good chance out for Anthony Georgie at the other end.
Yeah, he just cut across a little bit with his weaker left foot, but they got themselves into a good position, and if they can keep getting into those positions, you can expect them to get something out of the game.
Well, Danning has got away there and is going to get himself a free kick. Just a niggle at him by Rathjen as he went past. Too skillful there, the former A-League striker.
Some of the best opportunities came from similar positions in the first half, so if Pavlak gets quality in this, we can expect that Gungahlin will be troubled.
Well, Borgner has gone on towards the penalty spot. He's got Danning obviously in there as well. Verkic and Subasic have come up from the back. Let's see what Pavlak can pick out with this left foot, and he swings that one in. It's Denham's come for it, but not got there, and in the end it was far too deep. And the header was won on the far post by Verkic, I think it may have been, and couldn't direct it goalwards, so in the end that comes to nothing. You've seen this a bit disappointing, that free kick, really, when you consider we've seen some good quality ones from Waters and Borgner as well.
Yeah, I mean, they've still won the ball at the far post, but it was just a little bit too deep, as you suggest. Interestingly, Gungahlin had all 11 players in the penalty area.
Denham goes short. Rathjen picks it up and has time to turn. Outside the boot, sends it forward. Ronaldo can't get hold of it, though. Borgner, use of the arm maybe there from Borgner. Got away with that one. Here's Milicevic. And Timotheo robs Kalfas. And Rathjen sends it forward to O'Dwyer. And that one's a bit loose. Sliding in to win it was Subasic. Needs to win it again and doesn't. But O'Dwyer can't find a gold shirt. And Pavlak calms everything down back to Verkic.
I mean, the pitch isn't great, but the first touch of some of the players has let them down terribly today.
Yeah, end of season, you think it is. But these boys are obviously playing for starting spots in shootout football next week. Finals football time in Canberra, always a good time of year. We will, of course, be at the major semi-final next Saturday, 1v2. I won't be there myself, but somebody else will be calling that game. And then I'll be back for the preliminary final. And then grand final day, where at the moment we may have 3 matches to bring you live on Bar TV Sports. Under 18s, under 20s in the first grade. Negotiations underway for those, but definitely the first grade final will be on. And the following week, NPL final series. Canberra Olympic versus the champions of Northern New South Wales. And women's grand final as well. So plenty of football to look forward to, Steve.
Yeah, fantastic. And Bar TV doing a great job, aren't they, broadcasting local football?
Yeah, not just the local football as well. They're doing rugby league and union from around Australia. Doing a fantastic job in promoting grassroots football, grassroots sport in general. A great service to the Australian sporting community. They'll let us come back after that plug. Here's Borgner. Back to Subasic. No real room for Canberra FC to do anything going forward there, and in the end they give the ball away again. Kresic brings it down. Finds Danning. But it's a combination of Jack Green and Timotheo, and in the end, referee gives a free kick, and a little bit soft that one again, Steve.
It is, but I think FC would be better served concentrating their attack down their own left. Pavlak and the young boy up front playing against Nicky Rathjen rather than going against Jack Green. I think they're going to get more joy.
Well, let's see what Borgner can do with a set piece from the other side of the field. Swings it in, and Verkic was coming in, and here's a real chance in the penalty area. It broke for Subasic for a moment, and he swung a boot at it and connected with a combination of Gungahlin players, I think. Jason O'Dwyer's down, and Who's that down in a heap down there? Is that Georgie?
Yeah, it could be.
But I think he caught him on the follow-through. There was nothing malicious in that at all, was there? Sebastian's trying to get the shot away, and a foot came in, and he's just followed through and caught him.
Yeah, it's Tony George. He's just been collected a little bit late. Jason O'Dwyer got the clearance in for Gungahlin.
For a moment, though, it looked like it opened up again. Good quality from Borgner from the set piece from the far side, and ironically, we mentioned in the first half, seems to be their best route to goal at the moment.
It seems to be. And Gungahlin, I think, have got to be careful not to give too many set plays away around that penalty area.
Well, Gungahlin United's going to make finals football this year.
Yeah,
change
really
for the top four.
Yeah, done really well.
Well, they're doing really well today. They're 1-0 up.
They came into the competition, of course, all guns blazing, signed a lot of players, brought in a lot of quality, but didn't quite hit it off in the first season. But last season was a consolidation year for them, and this year they've really kicked on.
Let's thump forward towards Danning. In that first year, of course, they did bring in a lot of big names from around Canberra, and it just goes to show sometimes that some of the team is better than individual parts in some respects, doesn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's
because as good as those players were, all individual good quality, they never really gelled as a side.
And that's the key. I mean, you do need quality in your team, there is no doubt about it. I mean, Olympic have proven that. They've got quality in the team all over the park. But if you don't have a happy changing room, or the team doesn't come together as it should, then you're battling uphill.
Here's Kalfas turning and shooting, but Green's blocked. Looks a bit frustrated, Nikos Kalfas, the Greek striker. Put a bit of venom into that shot. But Green again. Every time I commentate on Jack Green, he's up there for Man of the Match awards, I think. Be flabbergasted if he's not in the running for Player of the Year in Canberra this year.
You'll go close. You'll go close. Amongst some strong, I mean, Dominici from Olympics done well. Kadanek's always up there amongst them.
Well, Green's going to take this, right? Looks for O'Dwyer, but Subasic wins it. Borgner clips it over the top towards Kalfas, who's done well to come and fetch the ball and flick it with the outside of the boot to this near side to Waters. Danning's gone in the channel. Look for the flick to Field, but it didn't come off, and Howell's got to be in better than that. His first touch was poor, but he got away with it with the better second one, and Rathjen completes the clearance, but only gives it away to the skipper, Ivan Pavlak. Waters. Ball bounced over his foot. Fortunately for FC to Field. Back to Waters again. Looking to take on Jenkins. He's going to have to do well to get past David Jenkins, who not only is good in the air, is a very solid central defender as well.
Yeah, he is. But I do think they should persevere with this side of the park. Take Jack Green out of the equation as much as they can.
They're not getting much change on the other side. There's Milicevic just prodding that one into the area. Kalfas brings it down. Back to Milicevic, swings it into the area, and it's hooked clear by Howe. Borgner brings it down, but he loses out to O'Dwyer. Verkic had to win the tackle, otherwise there was a break on. And that was a loose pass from Kresic. It's all a bit messy. Knocked it towards Danning. He's in the air. Danning on the volley. Hits the crossbar again. It's going to break away from Milicevic, who's headed backwards. Is held by Denham, and Kofi Danning must be wondering what he's got to do to score today. The second time he's been denied by the woodwork.
Well, I'll give him a hint. Keep it under the bar.
Good skill to bring it down, and he caught hold of it. He caught it too well, really, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Very unlucky. I mean, he's done everything right, bar score.
And Milicevic came back in. That was a good chance as well with the header, but he didn't get enough power on it to trouble Denham, who almost dropped it anyway. Here's Green, and he wins a free kick. But once again, Canberra FC knocking on the door, but unable to knock it down.
Yeah. I mean, I should mention that the bench is thinking it's going to be one of those days, but they're creating enough chances to get something.
Looking at that bench, they've got Jordan Lamb, Ian Graham, Ross Constanzo and Michael Mensah, so not a huge amount of goal-scoring talent on that bench.
No, but Mensah can perform as a makeshift forward.
He started off as a striker, and they converted him into a central defender. We're giving that one away, and here's a chance, perhaps, for Canberra FC. Borgner in the middle of the park. He's lost out, but he's won it back again. Uses a hand that time, and again, the referee misses that one. And here's room for Milicevic. And his pass to Danning isn't good, and Green finishes it Like another handball there from Borgner again.
Yes.
Playing basketball with it at that stage.
they're probably just waiting for him to catch it.
Well, Borgner more traditionally with his feet this time. Gives it away. And O'Dwyer comes in field to Timotheo. Now Bangura, and a chance for Gungahlin to launch a counter. Jack Green. A bit short for Bangura, but he helps it wide to Nomoski. The run back from Bangura. Ronaldo's gone with him. Bangura takes over into the penalty area, and Verkic sticks out a toe and concedes the corner.
Cue big lads to come forward. This is where they've got the joy in the first half. They'll be looking to see if they can get it the same this half.
Well, we're joking at half-time that maybe they might think to mark Jack Green off of this one. He's done it once or twice in the past.
Yeah.
Some of the Gungahlin United FC reserves and injured players were having a bit of a giggle about that one, saying, well, Jack Green is obviously quite renowned for his heading ability in Canberra. It's quite useful to mark him.
Yeah, you want big with big, and you know that Jack Green's the threat. I mean, they're going to aim for Jack Green every time they get it.
Well, they're probably going to go there again, you'd think. Dwyer's in there as well. He's a big lad as well. Let's see if they can go him. It's deep towards a Green on the far post, and this time the header is good. And away come Canberra FC on the break. Here's an opportunity for Danning. Bit of space for him to work. Not many red shirts in support, though, for Kofi Danning, so he has to go on his own. And Garland back in numbers, but the runners come into the boxes. Milicevic, and Field was with him, and maybe Field would have been better off taking that in his stride. Giving it away again, though. Here's Subasic. Borgner's made the run, but Green's there with him, and that'll be out for a throw-in. I'm really surprised that James Field didn't take that on.
Yeah, it was a neat little dummy that he let go and it rolled into Milosevic, and I think he was looking for that little bounce to get in behind, but came to nothing in the end.
Another warning, though, for Gungahlin. They can't keep leaving these gaps open. We've got just over half an hour to go here at Gungahlin Enclosed. Gunners lead by 1-0. That's swept into the area, but the wind, which has picked up a little bit at half-time.
Yeah, you need better quality than that. If you're going to get something out of the game, you need better service into the penalty area than that. I mean, they're not an aerial threat, but you've got to get better service than that if you are going to go high.
Well, it must be nearly finals football time, Steve, because the sun's out in Canberra, even though it's not very warm at the moment. It will be in a few weeks. Maybe we're turning a corner.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We love complaining about the weather down here. Here's Denham. Chips it up towards halfway. Ronaldo's not going to win that in the air, and Waters does. A little space hit for Borgner, if he can bring it under control. Getting onto the right foot, he can't shoot, and that was flashing just wide of post. And Jason Denham was nowhere near it, I don't think, if that had been on target, and Borgner sees another chance go begging for FC.
Crazy decision to try and hit Ronaldo in the air, but if you're not going to get goal side when you defend it, I mean, goal kicks like anything else, they're 50-50, so you've got to be in the right places. And Borgner there had the freedom of the oval.
Well, you think they'll try and hit O'Dwyer, if anybody. They've gone down into that channel towards him again, and Waters heads it forward. Danning wins it. Jenkins, though, under pressure from Danning, and Danning has it back. Now Waters. O'Dwyer's come tracking back, as he does often to win the ball. Rathjen. Good ball from Rathjen. Space for Bangura. Runners ahead of him. Nomoski in acres of room on that left-hand side. He's one-on-one with Subasic at the moment. Still going Nomoski into the penalty area, but Subasic stands him up and defends him well.
Yeah, it didn't look like going past him, did he, then Mishko, but it was a good move that broke free. Bangura took up a really good spot in midfield and played a good ball out to Mishko, and maybe we can expect a little bit more from an experienced player like Mishko Nomoski.
They tried to take him on for pace. Might have been better just whipping that one into the penalty area on that occasion, but he's won his side to throw in, and Jack Green is off a fast bowler's run-up for this one. Launches it into the box towards O'Dwyer, won by Verkic, and Borgner clears up to halfway towards Danning, who just beautifully plays it round the corner into Partha Kaufas. Now, this is the first time we've seen him in space running at the defence, Nikos Kaufas. He's taking on Young Howe. Got pace and power, Kaufas into the air, drills it across, and it's cleared by Jenkins for a corner. But the first time this afternoon that we've really seen Kaufas in space, and you showed just a drop of the shoulder past his man.
Yeah, he did well. I mean, at the end of the day, they've got a corner out of it, and they could have got a little bit more. But that's the sort of things you want from Kaufas, given that he's been brought in to create and score.
Well, this is the corner which is swung in by Pavlak, and it's headed goalwards, and it's a good save. It was a header from, I think it was Jack Green.
Eli Howe.
It was Eli Howe, sorry, yeah. Back towards his own goal. Confident defending, they call that, Steve, from Howe.
It was the only way he could get it back to his keeper.
And Green clears this one, only as far as Pavlak. It's going to drop for Pavlak again, who hooks it into the area, and Jenkins completes the clearance this time. It was a glancing header by Howe, and Denham had to be alert.
He did really well. The keeper, the reflexes were terrific.
Brown, that's a horrible bouncing ball on this pitch. Out to Georgie. Here's a chance. Ronaldo turns. His pass is poor, though. He's going to get it back, though. Shooting chance for Ronaldo on the edge. Fisses one in, and Brown has to dive to his right and clutches a ball at the second attempt.
There's plenty of time yet for either team to get a goal, but at the moment, FC aren't doing enough to threaten.
Well, Jenkins heads it clear to Borgner. Waters. Georgie wins it, though. Danny puts him under pressure, and he goes back to Denham. Just wants to send this one forwards down Ronaldo's channel again. Again, he's not going to win that one, but Field heads it out for a Gungahlin throw-in.
Yeah, might be better off when they're doing that, even from set pieces or from set play. Get Dwyer wider and let him try and win the flick on, and Ronaldo can run off him.
Rathjen concedes the throw. All the Gungahlin subs warming up behind the goal. Maybe change is imminent for them. Kalfas, beautiful feet to get away from Rathjen, but the pass inside then is a bit too elaborate. And it'll be Gungahlin who bring it clear with Green. Here's Bangura, beautiful skill in the middle of the park from Bangura as well. Up towards Ronaldo, and across comes Pavlak to win. Milicevic chests it down. Borgner, wide to Kresic. He's closed down before he can do anything with it, and Milicevic's pump forward is fairly aimless, and that's a good-looking ball from Jenkins. The idea was right, but couldn't quite get Ronaldo in.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad idea. They were flat and could have got Ronaldo in. But in transition, FC are very, very slow at the moment. Very slow.
Here's Danning. Milicevic sweeps that one wide to Kresic. Right-footed into the penalty area, and Howe stabs it right for a corner.
Which is better than the header, I guess, that he did before. But he's playing the wrong way at the moment, young Eli.
Well, at least the header kept possession for his team. It's conceded the corner on this occasion, which Kresic has gone across to take. You sense Canberra FC, if they did score, they're on the front foot here, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, once again, zonal from Gungahlin.
6 red shirts again, though. It's swung into that penalty area, and Howe again is the one that wins it. More conventional header this time, up into the air. It's bouncing around the penalty area. No one can really get hold of it. And here's a chance perhaps for Borgner. It's going to drop for Danning. He's got the technique to send it back in. Borgner on the turn and couldn't get enough pace on the shot. And Denham just gratefully held the ball in between his legs. On this up the other end, all of a sudden Ronaldo's got goal side, and when he chested it down, he couldn't quite get control of it.
Takes me back to my earlier point about first touch. I mean, gets a good touch there, he's in.
Brown's asked a lot from Danning, who's just let it bounce out of play. I don't think he thought he was going to get that one. Like I said, the Gungahlin subs were warming up. They're all back in the shelter of the dugout at the moment. Here's Rathjen dancing with the ball in front of the Canberra FC bench. Lost out to Waters. Danning. And he loses out to Ronaldo, who's actually played a through ball through towards Kalfas into the penalty area. He's on his own. If he could pull it back here, Borgner's in loads of space, but he can't. Took him way too long to see that option, I think, Nikos Kalfas. And the bobbly pitch didn't help him either. Here's Danning. And that's a very poor ball as well. And Ronaldo's won it, and you can hear the groans from the Canberra FC support. Ronaldo. Dwyer's going to get there first.
Done well.
Bangura under pressure from Kresic, who wins it. Milicevic can't get under control, and Timotheo puts his foot on it and sweeps a right-footed ball out towards Namoski, but it was inaccurate in its delivery. And Brown can start again. All a bit frantic, Steve. Need someone to put their foot in it and create a bit of magic.
Just a little bit of quality goes a long, long way, doesn't it? I mean, that's a poor ball from Timotheo in the middle of the park. When he's got plenty of time, no reason why you can't execute from there.
Field and Waters and Milicevic. Tired looking touch from Thomas Milicevic. Georgie, and he just smacks it forward as well, and it's all a bit desperate.
Yeah.
Here's Kalfas. Someone needs to give us a little bit of quality. Nikos Kalfas looking to provide. Keeps possession. Here's Milicevic, again a heavy touch, but he keeps the ball. Waters to field. Out wide is Danning, looking to take on Jenkins. Goes past him and then goes past Rathjen, then plays it off of Kel. It's fallen to Milicevic. This is a real chance here. Kalfas needs to get the shot away. He can't. It's forced for Danning, and his shot was always rising over the crossbar. And at one stage, the ball hit Bruno Kel, and his cards came out of his pocket, I think. There's a yellow card out here for some reason. I'm not entirely sure what this is for. He's sending Rathjen to the substitutes bench for some reason. I think his card just fell out of his pocket when he was hit.
Yeah, could have done. It was the best wall pass we've seen all day.
Well, for a second it got the FC in behind the defence, didn't it? Milicevic was in there. You can imagine the uproar if the ball had gone in there. So Rathjen's come off to change his shirt number. He's now wearing number 90.
Must have been a little bit of blood on his shirt, I think.
Absolutely. Not the highest squad number we've seen today. Anthony Georgie with 98, of course. What happened to 1 to 11, Steve?
God knows. Bring it back, please. Black boots as well, if you can.
Everyone's got squad numbers these days, even the local league. Not quite as bad as when Australia played with number 132 or whatever it was on that occasion. Howell's going to win this header. Kalfas went in strongly. Here's Georgie. Now then, space for Ronaldo. Got Pavlak coming across. Pavlak has a swing at it and concedes a free kick.
Got to be careful. He's on a yellow card, and that was a rather hefty challenge.
Yeah, otherwise he'll be sitting out next week's match between these two. Rathjen and Georgie. And Rathjen's done really well today. Been very impressed by Nicky Rathjen. He's looked very confident. There he is, just nutmegging James Field. Lost out to Waters, but good skills again. Milicevic. Kalfas looking for the run. Reading it was Eli Howe, another youngster who's been very impressive too.
Yeah, Rathjen's done really well. I think it's his first game back from a long injury. He's done well at right back defensively, and he's created for him going forward. Eli Howe been very solid.
We'll try and bring you any updates from Kuma if we can at some stage. Here's Milicevic sending that forward, and it's going to roll all the way through to Jason Denham, who sends Green on his way. Jack Green, whose goal separates the two sides here live on Bar TV Sports. PS4 MPL, Gungahlin United 1, Canberra FC 0 here in Canberra at Gungahlin enclosed oval. Been an enjoyable match, plenty of opportunities on both sides. We're hearing down at Nijong Oval, it's Kuma Tigers 5 now, Woden Western 2. Kuma Tigers 5, Woden Western 2. Bit of a goal fest down there. Martin Den got the second Woden Western goal. Not sure who got the fifth for Tigers. We'll try and find out before long. Here's Borgner. Danning. This is dangerous. Chance for Danning, but the shot is blocked by Green. Kresic loses out. So that's Tigers 5, Woden 2. End of season feel to that one, Steve. Plenty of goals.
Yeah. No pressure there.
No real pressure here either, but it's 1-0 to Gungahlin, who would finish above Canberra FC on the ladder and would do the double over Canberra FC for the first time ever, as far as we're aware.
Tremendous achievement if they can pull it off.
Bangura looking for Ronaldo, but Brown has read the situation and he'll throw it out to Waters, who's settled in well at Canberra FC this year. Been a very solid performer for them, having moved from Woden.
It's been impressive today as well. Hasn't done too much wrong today.
Great delivery from a set piece with a left foot, and from open play as well, to be fair. He's put some good crosses in. Looks one of their best this year. Here's Timotheo. Georgie. It's a bit short. Now Milicevic. Space for Borgner again. It's becoming a bit ragged in the Gungahlin midfield. Out wide towards Kresic. Oh, and he's miscontrolled it, and it's out for a throw. And Steve, Borgner noticeably getting a lot more space in the middle of that park in the second half. Is that something you think Marcel Menos is looking at? It looks like he's going to bring Yusuf Mohammed on. So it'll be interesting to see if it's a change to help shore up that midfield. Well,
certainly Borgner's playing a little higher now, and he's linking up well with the front two. So he'll need to do something about it. And this is not a bad change, because I think Georgie was just running out a bit of legs.
Yeah, Yusuf Mohammed comes on for Anthony Georgie. He's performed very well in the middle of the park. Be interesting to see what they do now. Nomoski seems to have dropped into that central midfield role, and Mohammed's going to take up a berth on the left-hand side, it would seem. He might be involved straight away off this long throw, but he's beaten to it by Subasic. Flicked on his Pavlak. Under a bit of pressure, Ivan Pavlak. Still going, Pavlak, but he's taking his time, dawdling a little bit, and in the end, his clearance is just out into touch.
Just looking a little frustrated, isn't he, Ivan Pavlak? Thought he should have had a free kick, and the referee hasn't given it.
Well, I can see Jordan Lamb stripping off in the substitutes dugout there. He's getting ready to join us, and there's a chat here with Pavlak, and as you said, he's got to be careful. Wouldn't surprise me if we see Ivan Pavlak withdrawn for Jordan Lamb.
Look, he's doing his best to get himself a second yellow card here. He just needs to be settled down a bit, or they need to take him off.
Yeah, I think maybe that's why Lamb's getting ready. We'll keep an eye on that substitution, of course. And that's a little nudge in the back of O'Dwyer, and it'll be a free kick to Gungahlin. With 17 and a half minutes to go, they still lead 1-0. That goal from Jack Green in the first half. Thumping header from a corner.
And he's strolling forward again to get on the end of this set piece, as Nomovski gently trots over to take it.
No real rush from Mishka Nomovski, but he'll look to drop this one into a dangerous area. As you say, Steve, Green and O'Dwyer on the back post. Mohammed has taken up a position just in front of them, and Ronaldo's there too. Can Nomovski pick one of them out? He swings it towards Green, who wins the header. It's looping towards goal, and Brown has to come and collect, and does so, and with Mohammed chasing in on him. Strong goalkeeping from Sam Brown. Led with the knee.
Yeah, did everything right though.
Love that with the keeper. You're allowed to lead with a knee if you're a goalkeeper.
Spoken like a true forward.
Yeah. If you lead with a knee with a striker, you're sitting in the stand for a few weeks. Here's Borgner. Bangura and Mohammed trying to win the ball off him, and it's Mohammed who fouls Borgner, and FC, sensing the urgency, want to get on with it quickly. Subasic wants to take it. Milicevic. Danning. This is better. Subasic, and Howe comes across and plays it against the defender, and we're going to see a substitution here for Canberra FC. And it's Jordan Lamb who's going to come on. And looks like Marko Verkic.
Yeah.
Matthew Waters is jogging over as well. Well, they're going to take both of them off. So it's Waters, in fact, who's going to make way for Lamb, which is interesting.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously fresh legs is going to help at this stage. Jordan Lamb played in the 20s and was very strong, at a good game from what I saw of that. But it's the Pavlak situation that has me on tenterhooks in terms of next week.
It's interesting because Kresic has come to this near side. Lamb has gone to that far side, and Milicevic seems to have dropped into a defensive role. And Subasic has moved forward, so who knows what's going on at the back there for FC at the moment. Brown sends that one clear. Borgner, who's looked lively in the second half, is broken for Danning. Now here's a chance for Lamb, the first chance we've seen him, but he can't quite keep that in play. So they've still got that back three.
Yeah, I don't think they've changed anything. It's just a personnel rearrangement sort of thing.
Yeah, the only thing that's happened, I think, is Kresic has come to this near side, and Lamb's taken up a position on that far side. It's a replacement for Gungahlin United. Osman Daramy comes on. And that was Nick Rathjen that's come off.
Yeah, I think it's Osman's a more natural right side fullback, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been in the side for most of the season as well, as far as I'm aware. Gets his first touch here. Bright orange boots. Here's Borgner. Nice skill, but it's over-elaborated a little bit, and Daramy sends out one forwards, and O'Dwyer, who's worked willingly again, as he always seems to do. Brown thumps it up the field. Danning's got goal side of Daramy. Still there with Danning. Ronaldo's getting a piece of him as well, but Danning still has the ball. Now Pavlak bringing it forward, and in the end has to go back to Verkic. Pavlak work the space for Field. It's all a bit congested. Downing again. Nomoski gets a foot in. And Ronaldo wins the ball back, and Gungahlin can start again. Timotheo, nicely worked.
Yeah.
Bangira in that space that he's found for most of the second half, and his ball forward is neither for O'Dwyer or Mohammed. And Brown has picked that up and immediately launched it into the space towards Lamb, who gets past two defenders somehow and finds space for Kalfas. Cuts in field, Kalfas. Now Lamb. No flag against Jordan Lamb. Can he keep it in play? No, he can't. The flag goes up, so this won't count. And Lambs looks lively.
Yeah. He'll make a difference for him. But the Gungahlin are working really hard when they haven't got the ball to make sure that they press in tight areas, in the midfield areas in particular. And we saw the benefits of that in that last move forward.
Well, Bangira finds Green. Now Green can run at Subasic. He's got O'Dwyer and Ronaldo in the middle. Treads on the ball, Green, and Subasic takes a little bit of a swing at him and gives away the free kick.
Once again, opportunity for Jack Green to stay forward, get on the end of a free kick.
Well, they've got 12.5 minutes to hold on or to add to their lead. Gungahlin leading by a goal to nil. We're going to see Michael Mensah in a minute as well for Canberra FC.
Could be interesting last 10 then.
Yeah, shortly after this free kick, which Nomoski will swing into the penalty area. Green's on the back post, heads it back across goal. Real chance this, but it's been headed over by Jason O'Dwyer under pressure from Sam Brown. And the flag was up, I believe, for a foul or offsided. Either way, I think Bruno Kell would have disallowed that anyway. But a good header from Green.
Yeah, once again, free at the back post, and he's won the header.
Well, so we're going to see Michael Mensah. And it's going to be it's going to be James Field, in fact, who comes off. So this is interesting. This will be a reshuffle of some description, because I don't think Mensah's a midfielder as such. Maybe it's a complete formation change here, Steve. He's slotted into that midfield role. Interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. They may push him further forward and try and play like a 3-4-3.
Well, it's Field who's come off. Brown will take this goal kick and send it into the centre area where Bangira wins it. Flicked on by O'Dwyer. Mohammed needs to put the gas down to take on Lamb, who hoiks that one out over on the far hand side.
Suits Gungahlin. Just playing for scraps now.
Yeah, time ticking away on Canberra FC in this one. Remember, as I mentioned earlier, in round 9, Gungahlin beat FC 2-1 at Deakin. On course for the double here. Borgner, unless something special happens in the last 10 minutes. That's an awful back pass, and O'Dwyer's got a real chance here. Can he get it under control? O'Dwyer gets a shot away, but he never really got enough of it, and it bounced away from Brown's goal.
Golden opportunity to seal the game, but terrible defending. The FC will need to lift the game if they want to win next week as well.
I'm sure there'll be a slight change of formation next week. Ian Graham will probably come back into this side, you'd imagine, and they'll hope that some of their injured players maybe are back, but Gungahlin will take great hope from this, the fact that they've beaten them twice, if it stays this way.
Yeah, ironically, or interestingly I should say, Tuggeranong did the double over them as well, and had Tuggeranong scraped into the finals, then they would have been facing a similar sort of challenge.
It's not been the greatest of seasons for Canberra FC.
Well, technically they finished 5th, and it's a long time since FC have finished outside the top 4. If this result stays the same.
This stays the same, there'll be 9 wins, 4 draws and 5 losses, which is not like it for them. Usually a lot more wins here. Here's Kalfas, got a bit of space here. Kalfas into the area, but Jenkins, who's played him really well all afternoon, comes back to win the ball and find Green. Ball bounces off of Bangira into the path of Borgner. Dancing around the ball, looking for Kalfas. Steps inside. First touch for Mensah. Not his best. Green heads it down to Bangira, who knocks it back to Green, and who knocks it back towards Bangira.
It was the sub. No, it wasn't Green. It was the sub that came on. What was his name?
Oh, Mohammed, sorry.
Yeah.
It was Mohammed. Good spot, Steve. Subasic. Nomoski's in there.
That's a great ball.
That's a great ball over the top, and here's a chance for Ronaldo. Cutting in field. Can he get the shot away? He can, and it's always going wide of goal, though. Sam Brown had that covered. But nice break for Gungahlin and a nice shot from the youngster.
Yeah, lovely pass to set him away, and he's done well. Cut inside. Hasn't hit the target, but it wasn't a bad effort.
8.5 minutes to go, live on Bar TV Sports. 1-0 to Gungahlin United. The goal from Jack Green in the first half. The header from the corner separates these two sides, who will meet again in the elimination final next week, or the minor semi-final, whichever way you want to call it. Mensah wins a header. Green volleys it back towards Mohammed, who's got goal side of his marker. Sebastic comes across, and the FC defender concedes the throw-in. Looking ahead to this one next week, Steve, it'd be a tough one to call.
Yeah, you would expect FC to improve on this performance. I mean, not that they've been terrible today, but they haven't done enough to justifiably claim the 3 points. But you would expect them to improve. But Gungahlin are going in on the back of some red-hot form. So it is a very, very difficult game to call. And I don't think anybody would be looking forward to playing Gungahlin if they had to in a semi-final.
There will be the outsiders of the four, you'd think, on history and reputation alone.
Yeah, but not on form.
But not on form,
no.
Exactly.
No, I think their form warrants due respect.
We're going to see another change.
I think it's just blood, a bit of a wash for Jenkins.
Jenkins will get changed. I can see Frano Blažević ready to come on, though, as well. Probably not off this throw. Won't want to lose Jenkins at this stage. Green goes short this time.
I'd be very surprised if they were swapping David Jenkins for Frano Blažević, taking a defender off and bringing on another striker at this late stage.
A 1-0 up. It's a bold move.
It would be very bold.
A very attacking move from a team that's 1-0 up with 7 minutes to go, but you know, it is the end of the season.
Well,
maybe it's a plan for next week. No, but Frano Blažević looks like he is going to come on at some stage. He's ready to go. Wouldn't surprise me if it's probably young Ronaldo, who's worked really, really hard, or O'Dwyer.
One of those two, I would suspect.
Yeah, who's also put in a really good shift. Corner kick to Gungahlin. Namoski will take. Usual suspects in and around the penalty area. It's in towards one of them. Mohammed wins it on the far post. It's going to break, though, kindly for Canberra FC. And just clipped forward by Kresic up towards Danning, and Kresic goes for the return. Daramy needs to be on his toes as Kresic advances forward, and Daramy's held him up well, the substitutes, and he wins it back for Ronaldo, but Kofi Danning's too strong for Michael Ronaldo. Now Borgner, no one in the penalty area at all in a red shirt. Kresic gets past Daramy, who concedes the free kick. Probably a correct call there from the referee, but there wasn't one red shirt in there, Steve, when Borgner picked that ball up outside the area.
In fact, there was 4 players closer to the halfway line than there was to the penalty area, so it seems to me that they're not all that committed to getting something out of the game.
On this occasion, they've sent every single player forward except for Brown and Lamb, and Borgner is going to drop this one as close as he can to a red shirt. Can they pull something out of the fire with 5.5 minutes to go? Borgner swings that in there, that's headed by Howe. And Mensah slid in spectacularly but couldn't get anything on it at all, and then treads on the ball to compound his misery on the far hand side. Not his finest 30 seconds of football.
I don't think you'll find that on his highlight reel, Russell.
Might make the Capital Football end of season blooper reel.
The blooper reel, yeah.
Unfortunately for Mensah, we know he's got enough quality as well. Had a disrupted season. He picked up a fair few red cards again this year, hasn't he? He's one of those players that's wholehearted and gets stuck in and sometimes goes a little bit beyond.
Yeah, he's a high quality player, but unfortunately he misses too many games through suspension for him to be really effective for FC.
Well, they'll be hoping he can be effective today and over the next 3 weeks as finals football hits Canberra. Jack Green, well, you can almost guarantee he will be effective. Kalfas, Green wins it. Ronaldo tries to force that one forward. It's going to bounce off of Jordan Lamb. Maybe a throw in to Gungahlin, and here will be the change. Frano Blažević will come on for the last 4 minutes plus stoppage time. Get to see who he's going to replace.
It looks like Jason O'Dwyer.
Yeah, I think it is Jason O'Dwyer who's jogging down. Once again, Jason O'Dwyer, 3rd time we've seen Gungahlin this season, and he works so hard for the team.
Yeah, I think you know, he's not technically the greatest player you'll ever see, but in terms of pure effort he's worth his weight in gold. And it's not a surprise to see him come off before the end of a game because he does put in such a solid shift.
Well, Blažević is very much an impact sub. Big, strong, tall lad. They could hit him on the break and hope he holds the ball up in this final 3.5 minutes plus stoppage time. Can't see there being a huge amount again like we had in the first half. There was hardly any stoppage time at all. Here's Kalfas, who's been on the periphery for most of the match today.
Yeah, it's been a game that's played in decent spirit.
Milosevic looks for Borgner. Howe comes across to win it. Lamb swings a boot at it, finds Borgner. Good turn from Borgner in the penalty area. Can he get across towards the far post? It's looped up off the top of the crossbar, and that about sums it up for Canberra FC really today. Borgner's ball in, took a deflection, looped up, hits the top of the crossbar and just drops harmlessly behind the goal.
They've certainly had enough chances and half chances to get something out of the game. And I don't want to be too hard on them, but their sort of lack of effort in transition to get people into good spots in the penalty area has probably cost them dearly.
Well, Steve mentions they're back in action against Gungahlin next week, and they're going to need to improve on this performance if they want to stay in knockout football any longer than a week. Mensah wins the header, and they need this man, Kalfas, and his partner up front, Danning, to offer a little bit more goal threat and, well, perhaps more execution, better than goal threat, I should say, Steve, because they've created the chances. Here is Danning, who could have had 4 or 5 himself today. Kresic, Danning. Space for him into the penalty area, fizzed it across goal, and Mensah was always leaning backwards and tried to wrap his foot around it, but couldn't quite pull off that technique.
Once again, a good half chance, and you'd expect a red-hot FC to sort of take advantage of that, but they just haven't been quite on song in front of goal today.
Well, they came into the game knowing an improbable 7-goal victory would give them the second place on the ladder. Yeah. They've probably created enough clear-cut chances to actually get half of that, if not more.
Yeah, certainly, but at the moment, they've got none.
Absolutely none. Danning's hit the bar twice, and he's missed another good chance. Mensah missed a chance there. They've had opportunities, but there's been opportunities for Gungahlin as well, and they're thoroughly deserving of this 1-0 lead.
Oh, you can't argue with the fact them being in front. I don't think FC will come off grumbling too much if the result stays the same.
Chances from both teams. We're into the final 90 seconds here as Daramy sends it down the line looking for Blažević. Verkic is close to him, as is Pavlak, and Verkic goes sliding in and brilliantly wins the tackle. Looks to set something forward to Borgner, back to Brown. It's at the wrong end of the field as far as FC are concerned. Brown looks to rectify that by sending it down towards Lamb, but Green is going to come across and nod it into the path of Ronaldo. Back to Green again. Timotheo, bit short, and that's picked off by Subasic, who sends it forward, and it's a good-looking ball towards Danning, who's got into the penalty area. It's going to break this one, and the whistle goes. As Kalfas was running onto it, Bruno Cal has penalised Kofi Danning for backing in, I think, on Eli Howe.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened there. Has either been a little bit of a shirt pull or, as you say, backing into him, but
he looked dangerous.
He did, and they've ruined a good chance by giving away a cheap free kick.
Good raking ball from the back, though. I think it was Daniel Subasic who sent it forward and found the run of Danning in behind. He's looked dangerous getting in behind. Just needs that little bit of support off him.
Yeah, and I think as the game's gone on, he's gone a little bit more frustrated with himself because he hasn't taken those early chances.
Well, Denham sends this one far as he can up the field. It's going to break here for Nomoski, who tries his luck ambitiously from about 35 metres, and it was always flashing wide a goal, but he won't care about that because that's going to take up a few more seconds. That's going to take us over the 90-minute mark and into stoppage time. And Steve, looking at the best player on the park today, your thoughts?
I think Danning's done reasonably well. Jack Green's probably been the outstanding player for Gungahlin and in the game. But some good performances from Ronaldo on the break. Jason O'Dwyer's worked hard. David Jenkins has done nothing wrong. But if I was having a tip, or if I had to pick the man of the match, I think I'd probably give it to Jack Green.
Don't think anybody watching would probably disagree with you there, Steve. Defensively, superb again. Makes things happen when he goes forward and has scored the all-important goal that separates these two sides. A typical Jack Green goal, we'll say, coming in at the back post off a corner to nod it home firmly. I think Marko Verkic and Canberra FC, if they're looking back at the video, will be disappointed about the marking on that particular goal.
Yeah.
That's something they'll need to be wary of next week again when these two meet. There's the warning for them straight away.
But it's, as we've been saying all game, that it's not unique. Jack Green scores like that once every 2 or 3 games.
Last chance then, you would think. Sam Brown, free kick in the centre circle. Everybody in a red shirt is forward. He chips that one forward. The flag isn't going to go up on this one. A bundle of bodies collects. Jump for it. It's bounced for Daramy, who just thumps it forward. Now here's a chance on the break. Ronaldo's clear. He could seal it here. Michael Ronaldo, but he's rushed his shot when he could have taken a couple more touches, and he harmlessly poked it into Sam Brown. He's got his head in his hands as Brown thumps it forward. It was a great chance for the youngster. Just rushed his chance. Mohamed wins a throw-in though for his team down here. What an opportunity for Ronaldo to finish it.
Yeah, that's the finish of a player that was a little bit nervous, thinking that I'm going to get a goal. I
think he's tried to lob him, hasn't he?
Well, I don't know what he's tried to do.
I think he was looking for the little lob as Brown went back, and he's come off his toe of his boot rather than anything else. But he could have taken it on, to be honest. Here's Mohamed.
I think he was looking at the headline rather than the goal.
Pavlak has it, but he's 100 metres from where he wants to be. Blažević wins it, cuts it into the area. That was a good interception by Verkic, otherwise it would have been a tap-in for Ronaldo. Here's Mensah. Can he actually get something going in the last seconds of the game? That's a fairly aimless punt across the field. It's going to find Lamb. And he's been beaten to it by Green, who stretches the legs out. Verkic, another sliding tackle. He times them so well, Marko Verkic. Milicevic under pressure from Nomoski. Verkic wins it again. Challenge on Ronaldo. FC scrambling to get the ball forward. Milicevic, but once again Bangura gets a foot in again. They're throwing bodies in the way here.
Absolutely. Gungahlin. Great work, great. I mean, FC have just had not a minute's peace, and as the game's worn on and has become crucial, or more crucial, that they put pressure on, they've been able to maintain that sort of intensity.
Well, looks like Gungahlin are going to hold on here for a famous victory. Is Danning. Borgner tries a trick, but Bangura's read that one well, and here's a chance perhaps for Blažević to get away from Verkic. He has, he's got goal side, but not really many men in support coming forward. Now there's a couple, but it's been read by Kresic, who rather lazily swings that one out, and
that should just about do it, I think.
It should do. Not very much longer at all again. I think Jack Green has picked up Bruno Kell's yellow card and given him a card.
Oh, you must have holes in his pockets. It's about the second time, isn't it, that his card's dropped
Bruno Kell's got to be careful, because it's one more yellow card and he's suspended for next week.
Yep.
Throw into the penalty area. Blažević holding it up. Goes back towards Green. Borgner's trying to win the ball for his team. There's a bit of a fight in the corner for it, and Borgner comes away with the throw, but realistically they've got to go the length of the field in whatever little time there is left, and there's none at all as referee Bruno Kell blows a whistle, and it seals a double for Gungahlin United over Canberra FC for the first time ever. Jack Green's goal sealing it for the home team, and Steve, despite coughing up a number of chances for FC, you can't begrudge Gungahlin their victory.
No, and it's once again it's at the tail end of a really good run going into the finals for them. They worked hard once again. We've seen them play before when the Centre of Excellence were here. Their pressing game was spot on. The tactics that they've employed have been carried out manfully. They've got the goal from a set piece that FC will be a little disappointed with, but nonetheless I don't think you can begrudge Gungahlin the 3 points today.
They beat the FFA Centre of Excellence here 2-0. We watched that game live on Bar TV Sports, and they drew 3-3 with Canberra Olympic after leading 3-1 with 10 minutes to go. Then they've beaten the Rhinos comfortably 3-0 away from home. Now they've beaten Canberra FC 1-0 as well. We said before, I remember in that FFA game a few weeks ago, defensively with Jenkins, with Jack Green, with Regan Walsh to come back in as well. They look very solid defensively, and defensive can win you championships.
Well, you build your championship performances around your defence, there's no doubt about it. But, you know, one of the best teams in the league, Centre of Excellence, have kept a clean sheet. Team that's finished in the top 4 and is a regular championship winner in Canberra FC, they've kept a clean sheet again today. So defensively they're strong. The midfield works hard. It's got enough creativity to make chances. And in players like Jack Green, Jason O'Dwyer, Mickey Ronaldo, they've got a threat up front and from set pieces.
Well, as the teams leave the field and the shadows lengthen across Gungahlin enclosed oval here, the final score has seen Gungahlin United claim the victory. They move up to 4th on the ladder. Next week they will play on Sunday against Canberra FC in the elimination final. On Saturday the action comes from Deakin Stadium, I think. Yes, from Deakin Stadium, as one plays 2, Conan against Canberra Olympic. Should be some two cracking finals football matches next week, one of them live on Bar TV Sports. Steve, thanks for your company here this afternoon again. Jack Green's goal in the first half, the header from a corner, was the one that separated the two teams, and in the end, Gunners come out on top. It's Gungahlin 1, Canberra FC 0.